Changing minds one thought at a time.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Changing Minds Online Show Empowering Women series. Good evening, Akina. How are you tonight?
Oh, I am wonderful. How about yourself there, Jessica?
I am doing awesome, and I'm so excited for tonight's call. You know, it was really around 8 or 9 months ago now that Akina and I first met on Facebook, and the vision for Changing Minds Online was born. You know, Akina and I didn't have a ton of money to throw at a traditional startup. You know, if it was, neither one of us had the capital to do something like buy a franchise, but we knew that we wanted to be entrepreneurs. We knew we wanted to take our lives to a whole nother level. And we live in such an amazing and wonderful time where social media and Facebook and the Internet allows you to start a business and brand yourself and create something wonderful with a very low startup cost. Now, this is the Empowering Women series. Obviously, if you're on the call tonight, you're on the call because you've made a decision to make your life better. And tonight we have a special guest on our call who's going to teach you how you, and I mean like you, can start a business online, start your very own company with a very small budget. So tonight we have on the call Linda Bamba. We met connecting on Facebook, connecting through social media. Linda is a full-time home business owner. She's an entrepreneur, and she's built a very successful home business only online using social media. And tonight she's going to talk to us about how to build a business online with a small budget. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Linda to the call. It's so great. It's such an honor to have you with us tonight, Linda.
Thanks, Jess. I'm excited to be here.
Very good.
You've got anything that's for women, because I think women as a woman, and if you look at back over the last 10 or 20 years, how many more women are in business today than versus 10 or 20 years ago. So I think it's great.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, one of the things that is so wonderful about being able to run a business online is, like you just said, it allows women to really be able to stay at home, play that traditional role of wife and mother while taking their lives into another aspect that women couldn't do 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. You know, our parents didn't have the luxury of going on Facebook and running their business, while we were sleeping and while we were taking naps. But we have this opportunity as women today, and I think none of us on the call actually have children. But could you speak to us for a minute on how is it that, social media, that Facebook, that these seemingly kind of fun things we have actually can be a valuable tool to make our lives better?
Before I started working online, I certainly knew what Facebook was, but I had no idea there's billions of entrepreneurs using, and if you just take Facebook, because that is the one, Facebook gets more traffic than any place else, doing business online on Facebook, and a lot of it is on their personal profiles. I mean, I work off of both, but when you think about it, the reach you have, you can talk to people around the world, and we didn't have that kind of thing 10 or 20 years ago. And Facebook alone, maybe in 10 years Facebook won't be here. I can't imagine that. But when you look at just the platform of just engaging with people and just having that, you can sit in the comfort of your home and talk to people.
Yeah, it's truly amazing. Now, Akina, I know you are like our social media guru. If it wasn't for Akina's knowledge and insight about social media, Changing Minds Online, I guarantee you if you found us on Facebook, you wouldn't be listening to tonight if it wasn't for Akina. So, Akina, I know you have a lot to say about this topic as well.
Oh, yes. Social media has been so wonderful to Changing Minds Online. We have met so many wonderful people like Ms. Bamba via Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and Google+. So, the sky's the limit with social media, because back in the day we couldn't just call somebody from Australia on the phone, but now we can just instant message them right now if we decided to do that and make a deal right there on Facebook. So I definitely am an advocate for social media.
Yeah, I love how you're really bringing up the fact that, like, the world is really at our fingertips today. It's such an exciting time to be young, to be an entrepreneur, to be born in. We have just this absolutely, like, amazing opportunity that didn't exist before. I mean, the world is truly at your fingertips. And, you know, like Akina said, you can be in Australia. I mean, people have listened to our podcast and download our podcast all over the world. We're in over a dozen countries already. And these are places that, you know, we've never even have traveled to, places we haven't connected with, some places we don't even know anybody in, but people are able to get our content. You know, it offers this absolutely incredible opportunity to grow. So, Linda, you know, you and I and Akina, we can all kind of talk about this, but you came on the call tonight specifically to talk to women about how they can start from nothing and build a business online. So can you just tell us a little bit about your journey and your story of what you did and how you made the choice to go online and what it entailed for you and what that was like?
Well, my journey started in really September of 2011. I had lost my job in August of 2011, and I worked in cancer research for 16 years. And what I did was very specialized, and with the job market, I just couldn't find another job. And I knew people were making money on the internet, and I've always been fascinated with it. And I had an entrepreneurial spirit in me since really I was a little kid and never really pursued it. And I thought this is the time to do that. So I started looking actually on my own when I started. I Googled make money online, and I ended up buying a website. I spent some money making up some pay-per-click ads, and at the time I didn't know what pay-per-click ads really were. I didn't know about keyword research, and I certainly didn't know that there was a home-based business industry. And I started working on that on my own for, I guess I've spent about 10 months doing that. I drove traffic to the website, but it wasn't converting. And actually, really by accident one night, my frustration is I was still looking for a full-time job. I landed on Facebook, and I clicked an ad, as whatever as this sounds, that said 100% commissions. And I was entering the home-based business industry. I didn't even really know that. I met some people initially that I had joined an MLM with them, and you know, they were teaching me some things, but I knew that there had to be somebody. I needed a guru, like a mentor that I could hire that could really show me the ins and outs of it, somebody that's made, you know, six figures and beyond. And I kept looking, and that's when I got involved with some of the things I'm doing now. But it's been, it took me a year and a half after I lost my job. I had a revelation that really losing my job was a gift. And not that it didn't cause any problems, because I was broken in foreclosure at one point. I mean, I'd gone through all my savings, maxed out my credit cards, and didn't have a lot of money to try to get something going. And that's how one of the things my mentor has taught me. She was broke when she started, and she didn't have any money for advertising. You know, maybe could put out $100 or less a month. And she's really taught me this stuff, because I can go on Facebook now and I can generate a bunch of leads for free. And a lot of people, when they're starting, it's not like I looked into buying some, if you want to buy a franchise or something, you're talking about spending at least $100,000. This is such a low entry. I can get somebody started for less than $100 a month to get going. And what we have here, and I know you guys know this, the space, I can make life-changing income. Anybody can do it. It's not like a job. And I worked for somebody else for like 30 years. I mean, I started working when I was in high school, and this space is just, there's nothing else like it. So that's how I got started. I didn't quit. I can't tell you how many times I wanted to quit. But I'm here now, and I'm able to share. I've met a lot of moms that they just want to be home with their kids. And my mentor was in that situation, and she left a decent paying job to start doing this, and everybody thought she was crazy. So yeah, I'm here now. It's like I know people think I'm crazy when I say that, but losing my job was like, it was a gift. It really was.
Oh wow, that is powerful. You know, I like the way you mentioned your mentor. I believe that mentoring is so key. So I assume that it was very key for you in starting your business online.
It was, and she, and when you don't, I was looking for somebody. I heard her speak, but much like this was, I heard her speak a couple of times, and I started checking it out, and I really, this is a relationship business. I heard her talk, but I didn't really know her, and she didn't know me, and she didn't know my story or my situation or anything. And really, if I look over the amount of time and her getting to know me, I mean, she knew immediately when she met me what kind of work ethic I had. But other than that, because she's been here for a long time, she said, you know how many people I've seen come in this industry and then they quit? And I've seen a lot of that myself, too. I mean, I haven't been here 15 years, but you're just kind of checking somebody out, and if you click and all that. And she really, when you're looking for a mentor, you want to find somebody that's willing and able to teach you, and you got to have to earn that from that person because you have to do the work. And a lot of people I meet, they want to make a lot of money, but they don't want to do the work, and you've got to work your backside off at this. I worked a full-time job and went to school, and doing this and building a business, I've worked more hours doing this. I mean, you kind of have to give up. You still want to make time for family, but there's a lot of time. I mean, I can't tell you how many nights I didn't want to, you don't want to cut a video. You don't want to get on Facebook or talk to people. But if you're really serious about this, you got to work on it every day. And a mentor, it's not their responsibility to make sure, when you're an entrepreneur, it's not like a job. If you don't do something, that's on you. But a mentor's there kind of to correct and push you and show you, if you're doing something maybe that is not that productive, to point you in another direction. And she's been, I don't think I would have stuck it out because I got to a point where I was just telling her, I said, you know what, this doesn't work, I said, I can't do this anymore. And she just, she helped me see the possibilities. And I think if you don't have and for me, I was in foreclosure. My vision kind of pulled me through. I was looking at being on the street. I was broke. If some of my neighbors hadn't given me food, I that's how bad it was. And you get to a point where, and some people, there's nothing wrong with somebody who wants to come in and make a little bit extra money, but if you don't have a really good why, I talk to some moms and they just don't want to be apart from the children. And that's strong enough that it's going to pull you through when you want to quit, when you're working all these kind of crazy hours and that kind of thing. Because otherwise, they call most people like that tire kickers. But you got to have a really strong reason why you're here, because it's not a job. But if you're willing to put the work in, you can make life-changing income. You can change other people's lives. That's probably like the best part about it. After you start making money, that you know that you help somebody else, it's great.
I like how you say that it really is work, but you need to find your purpose. Akina and I always talk about finding and living into your purpose. And we've done tons of talks on that. You can go back and listen to them. They're actually our most highly downloaded shows, is finding your purpose, because finding your purpose is so important. It becomes a compass that just helps you and keeps you on track. It's like that lighthouse, that beacon of light where you're going towards something. And, we're both professional, we're all network marketers. We're all professional network marketers. And, one of the things I often, people say is I want to sign up for this company and I want to get rich quick. It's not a get rich quick scheme. It's not net play marketing. It's network marketing. If you want to actually make money, if you want to actually be serious and create a real income and replace your income, it does take work. There is also a learning curve, and I like how you said, Linda, at first you put a lot of time on the front end, but then later it was a reward. Akina can tell you, I can tell you, I'm finishing my second master's degree. Akina has, I don't know how many masters now, Akina?
Well, I'm working on the fourth one now.
And she has a doctorate degree. And she just, and we'll just shout her out while we have the opportunity, just finished her life coaching certification today or yesterday. So congratulations, Akina. But we can tell you that, all this stuff, all this effort, it takes a long time. I have 2 masters because my full-time profession is I teach children with autism how to speak using, applied behavior analysis. It took me a long time to learn how to do that. You can't step to, enroll in a company or to, sign up for a website, write a blog address, and think that, tomorrow you're going to produce a ton of money. It took me 8 years to get all of my degrees. Akina, how long did it take you to get all of your degrees?
All of them?
Yeah,
probably about
it took a long time,
9.
right? It took a long time. And now we're making money in our field, and it's really the same thing when it comes to building a business online. A lot of people will start, and like Linda, like you said, they get frustrated. A lot of people start things, not a lot of people finish things. They say only 10% of people finish things. And the difference between why we're on this call and we're able to share this with you is that we're in that 10% that said, I want to finish this. And we want you to be in that 10% too. And no, it will get hard. You'll want to throw things. You might have even thrown things already. I've thrown things before. It's okay to get frustrated, but you have to keep going. And that's really what it comes down to is that, knowing that right before you're successful is when you're going to get your biggest test. I'm a firm believer in that. One of my favorite books is The Alchemist, one of my Paul Coelho. That's a novel. But what it really says is that just before you're about to succeed, you're tested to see if you really have what it takes. And most people just give up. How do you know that this isn't the last test before your breakthrough? How do you know that this is not the one more lesson that you needed to learn before you get everything? So, keep going and keep persisting. It is work. I know there's people on this call that are saying, but I write in my blog every day and it's just not getting that traffic. Well, how do you know that you're not going to stop writing that post before the next one would have been picked up by some sort of super blog and you would have been hyperlinked and all of a sudden you have 1 million, hits in traffic a day? Keep going. But, on the spirit of, wanting to kind of move this into a very practical conversation, because, we give you a lot of inspiration, but between the three of us, the three of us have all built businesses online. I would like to kind of speak to, and Linda, maybe you can kind of start us off. If someone's on this call tonight and they're saying, you know what, I know my purpose. Yes, I know it's going to be work. I'm willing to kind of put on my big girl panties and suck it up, and I'm willing to do it. What is the first step? For someone who may be saying, I've never done this, I don't know what to do, I don't know where to go, how did you get started?
I knew after I had finally gotten onto Facebook, I started looking for somebody to mentor me. And I took quite a bit of time with that, going around. I was getting on some calls like this with different people speaking, and I had gone on 3 different ones, I guess over a course of about a month or two, and who's my mentor now, I had heard her speak a couple times, so I started looking her up and trying to find her website, finding her, Googling her and finding her on Facebook, and when I started checking her out a little bit more, I wanted to see what she did coaching and mentoring, how she, contacting her saying, how do you work this? Do you have a package? That kind of thing. And after I had talked to her, and you have to pick somebody you resonate with, I just kind of felt a click with her just by listening to her speak a couple times. So I signed up initially with the program, and I still use that program now. It's not so much a business opportunity, but it's a training platform that she's an instructor for. And that's how I got started with her. And really through her guidance, having a mentor, you can't do this by yourself. I should say that. You can't, I tried that on, and that was like kind of an accident. Me buying a website, I think they emailed me 15 pages of some instructions, and you can't, if you think you can do this yourself, you can't. You want to find somebody that's had success that can show you what they did, and that's the very first thing you want to do. And as far as tools, you have to have an autoresponder. That's not that expensive, and then you need some sort of a marketing system that can show you how to market and recruit, the different marketing strategies. If you're into Facebook, to pick one of those, you've got to pick one, find something. If you like to write, a blog would probably be a good thing. Find something that you're passionate about, and start thinking about the marketing strategy, and the other stuff I didn't really know what I wanted to focus on. Some people, like if you're into health and wellness, or I was talking to somebody else today, she's a dog lover and she wants to do something with dogs, but she's not quite sure. That kind of thing will fall into place, but your first thing is you got to find a mentor.
Yeah, and I just wanted for anyone who may be listening in tonight, and to be honest with you, Linda, like when I first started into my journey, I couldn't afford to hire a mentor. Now, I love the field of network marketing because one of the things that comes with that, and I know you can probably speak to this too, is that, you have an upline, and that upline has done already or is doing what you're doing and probably been more successful than you already because they enrolled you, right? So, they were great mentors, and I did have a lot of mentors through my network marketing business. But ultimately, I didn't have the ability to when we first started off, and Akina will tell you too, we didn't hire a business coach. We didn't hire, people to do our marketing for us. We didn't have anyone per se that we said, okay, we're going to pay this person to be our business mentor. But we did look for mentorship. And, one of the things, if you were on this call tonight and you're like, well, I just can't afford that. Sometimes mentors are expensive. I have friends who've paid as much as like $2,500 for an hour to be a business coach or a business mentor. Mentor with someone from afar. Like, no matter what your budget is, you can go to the library and get a book, read a book about it. There are webinars, there are podcasts like this podcast where it's free. It doesn't cost anything. So there is a way to get that mentorship from a distance if you can't afford to hire a business coach. We never had someone tell us what to do, but certainly Akina and I, we sought out information and we figured out how to do this. We asked our friends, hey, what are you doing? There are tons of different networking events, Twitter chats, things you can go on Facebook and these, network pages and conversations where you can ask people for advice. And, you can, go onto Podomatic, go onto Blog Chat Radio and Google whatever it is that you want to do. I'm very, very passionate about changing people's mindsets, about getting people to be very, healthy, to get people to be able to utilize the law of attraction to manifest their dream lives. And so that's my platform. You can make money and you can capitalize and monetize on anything in today's day and age, whatever it is that excites you. Like, you have the ability to go create a business around that. And, the information is there. You really just have to look for it. Kina, I know you are huge into webinars, and maybe you can give some of our listeners some of the resources that you use and you listen to.
Well, of course, I listen to, for motivation, I listen to Jeanette L. Cooper's site. I also listen to Cheryl Pullen. And as far as different businesses, social media, I listen to Sue Zimmerman and Kim Garth. And they have a large, and of course, Nathan Latka. I've listened to him a couple of times. And of course, for my Twitter chat, I usually use the Women's Speaker Association. And these are different areas. And of course, there's many, many more. But these are just outlets that I use, and they have definitely been helpful.
Yeah, and and you utilize our Empowering Women series. If you haven't been listening to our call from the beginning, we have this is our 64th, I think, Akina, our 64th show. We've had so many amazing women guests come on the show, accountants, tax experts, business builders, people who talk about how to set up a social media profile, how to brand yourself. All those things, or you can go to our archives and listen to them. ChangingMindsOnline.com, click on the archives. They're all there for you. And not only our page, but there's tons of pages. I love to follow, Susan Sly and the way that she sets up her business, and that's someone I look up to and someone that I follow. Networking groups. I participate in Facebook groups almost every day. I'm constantly networking with people. And Linda, that's how we met, right? Was through a networking Facebook group.
Right. And the mentoring, I want to clarify that. Mentoring and coaching are two different things. Mentoring is free. Coaching is where if you hire a coach, and you'll get to a point at some point that you're going to want to do that. But starting out, I worked out with her. I got into a program with her that wasn't costing me, I think it was like $100 a month. that I had access to her, actually through a Facebook group. She looked at if I had a copy that I wanted her to look at. So, I mean, mentoring actually is free. Coaching, and I think people lump the two together and think that the coaching and the mentoring are all the same. And the mentoring is actually, that's inexpensive. It's the coaching and consulting is, I don't want to put a third thing in there, but they're all three different. All of those are different. But mentoring is really, a lot of the time, I mean, I do that with a lot of people that come into my one program. They get mentoring from me as well. I mean, if you want to crank it up a notch and you've got some money, and I know I got to that point, you want to hire a coach. But starting out, you can do it relatively inexpensively. And I hear so many people say about mentoring and lumping mentoring and coaching together, but they're really two different things.
Yes, I agree. I have a mentor and I also have a coach. So, yes, I definitely do those things as well. And now, Linda, what other steps besides mentoring would you give to the listeners today?
They want to get hooked up. The one tool that's an absolute must is an autoresponder. It's they're not hard to learn how to use or set up, but they want to start initially with getting an autoresponder and then looking through at the different marketing strategies, whether it's Facebook or video marketing or blogging, and take some time to think about it, but pick a marketing strategy. Just pick one to start and do it until you master it. If you start picking, I was talking to somebody the other day who was going to pick 3 or 4 things, and you just get it's just too confusing and overwhelming. Pick one. A lot of people make that mistake. I know I did that. And pick one and keep doing it until you master it.
Yeah, that sounds like great advice. You know, there's a lot of tools and resources you need to start a business online. And like Linda said, a lot of them could be free. You know, for an autoresponder, Changing Minds Online, we use MailChimp. And, you know, we have a free account with them because that's all we really need at the moment. So, you know, there's a lot of things that you can do. And for anyone who may not know on the call, an autoresponder is something that's going to help you to, you know, send messages to people who are subscribing to your blogs or your podcasts, whatever it is that you choose to set up, where you don't have to message everybody. So there's a lot of ways that you can kind of make it so you're really capitalizing on your time and you're capitalizing on your investment. So, Linda, we're right at that kind of 9:30 time, right at that half of the hour where we end our call usually. If there's one thing that you wanted to leave our audience with today, what would it be?
Don't quit. Stick to, you know, look long term, not short term. What brought you here in the first place? Your vision. You know, if you're a mom and you want to be home with your kids, you got to keep looking at that and keep your eye on the prize, so to speak. If you just keep looking at, you know, you did this for a week or a month and you don't feel like you've gotten anywhere, and celebrate your small successes. I think there's a lot of people don't do that enough. Even if it's a small result, celebrate it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Now, if anyone wanted to get in touch with you, and how would they be able to do that?
They can connect with me on Facebook, or they can go to my website, lindabomba.com. I do have a thing there. They can message me.
That's awesome. And thank you for sharing with our listeners tonight and being on our show. It was an honor to have you. Akeen, is there anything that you want to say before we close the call? Is there anything you wanted to add?
Well, if anything that Linda said touched you today, please visit our archives at changeyourmindsonline.com, or you can find the archives on iTunes, Podomatic, Stitcher, and TuneIn. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, guys. And, you know, we look forward to kind of closing out the year with a bang. For those of you who don't know, we have a new publication coming out on New Year's Day. We are also going to be relaunching a whole new look, so we look forward to, we have some great things planned for the weeks to come. So thank you guys for being on our journey with us. You know, we love you. God bless, and have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks
everyone.
again, Linda, for being with us tonight.
Yeah, and thanks for inviting me. This was great.
Our pleasure. All right, guys. Have a great night.
Okay, bye.